Hey folks, so Jayce and I are both over 21 and everything we are doing is legal in Chicago. Please drink responsibly. You're kidding.
You're kidding. How many times have you been pooped on by a bird in your life?
Never.
Never?
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just once.
When?
Just once.
Where?
You know, it was actually when I was at a picnic. It was really kind of... Yeah, but
That's
it was fine.
sad.
Yeah, Katie was
It's
there.
one of my biggest fears. Really?
Yeah.
It was recently?
It was like last year.
That's so...
Right
I don't
before
know.
the pandemic.
I don't know why, but I always assume I equate getting pooped on by a bird with a child.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
For no reason.
No, I hear you though. It's baby vibes. It's supposed to be good luck, right? Like that's what people say.
As we just learned, I didn't know that, but
I knew
they
it.
said it when we just watched the Wizards of Waverly Place movie.
That's true.
When the bird poops on her.
Teresa.
Yeah, the dad says, it's supposed to be good luck.
Yeah.
That was a crazy movie to watch just now.
Yeah.
That was a good choice, I feel like. That was exactly the mood I wanted.
Yeah, I'm glad we watched that over Aladdin for the time being.
Yeah, but I do want to watch Aladdin soon.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a very,
Or
very,
the
very,
Will
very
Smith
long time.
YouTube rewind. The yeah.
Not the live action one, the real one. Welcome to Your Kidding.
A podcast about nothing.
Yes, we are under the influence.
No, we don't know what we're talking about.
My name is Maddison,
And oh my God, I just so interrupted you. You know what? I was thinking about my own thing. You know what I was thinking about?
What?
I was thinking about how every time we do the intro, you say one thing and then we always end up doing the same exact intro.
Yeah, except one time. One time you did it first, but
yeah. I was just thinking about that. Continue.
Do you want me to leave room for you to do it?
Oh my God,
time?
yeah, Maddison. Yeah. This is me starting a fight. No, I was just like, oh, huh. And then I was like, my name's Jayce.
So you weren't listening to me?
No.
Well, my pronouns are she, her, so.
And my pronouns are they, them.
Did you say your name?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Were you not listening to me?
No. Oh my God. Anyway, so today we are guestless. I am the guest, and I am going to talk about Lizzie Borden.
Yes.
I have this PowerPoint that I made just for funsies, and before I finished it, I got a group of my friends, and I was like, we have to do a PowerPoint party just because I want to talk about this. And I made all my friends do it. Jayce was there.
I was.
What was yours on?
I talked about why the moon is fake.
Yeah. But for right now, I'm going to give you guys my Lizzie Borden presentation because I love her.
Heard. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
So I know Jayce has seen this presentation 3 times, but act like you've never seen it.
Oh, ooh. That was my pretending
Oh my
voice.
gosh. Who is Lizzie Borden?
I don't know.
Let's see here. One sec. Let me open. Don't look.
Do you have copyrighted music in this presentation?
I'm not going to play the music. The music
Okay.
was from when we did it as a group. But I'm going to post the presentation on the YouTubes. Watch us on YouTube. There still won't be music, though.
Yeah, because it's copyrighted.
But if there was music, it would be the children's nursery rhyme, which I can sing this because it's a children's nursery rhyme. It goes, actually, I don't know if the melody they use in the musical is the real one.
I feel like if you sing it, you're going to summon a ghost or something, so I don't know.
It's a nursery rhyme. People
Yeah,
sing it all
but
the time.
children's songs are scary.
Okay, well, it goes, Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, it gave her father 41. And it's a children's nursery rhyme based off of a real-life murder. Like, what? Okay, so 2 seconds.
Maddison, you believe in ghosts, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I do. I don't know.
Have you ever seen one?
Not seen one, no. No, I haven't.
Wait, hold on. You do believe in ghosts because you hate my basement because you think there's a ghost in it.
I just think your basement has like haunted energy. Like it scares me. And there was like a lot of, I don't know. I think there are bad vibes in there for sure. But whether or not I like solidly believe in a ghost, I don't know if that is something I actually believe in. But I do get scared. Is what I'll say. I do get scared. There's like an elevator in my building that I say I think has a ghost in it because there's just bad energy on it. You know what I mean? And I don't know what else to explain it as other than like me being scared of the elevator.
Heard.
But the other elevators I'm not scared of. So I don't know. I don't know about it.
I do believe in ghosts. I don't really know like what form that takes though. So I guess maybe it's like a little similar to what you're talking about. Like I don't know if I necessarily believe that like I could see a whole person right there right now, but I do think that like there are like some sort of like spirits or energy that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do know what you mean.
So Lizzie Borden, I gotta tell you, I was writing a paper on this over before quarantine happened, but still school time. And I was writing the paper, and above me, a snow globe on my mantle just started playing.
That's really scary.
And I was also watching a ghost show about Lizzie Borden when this happened. And I was like, okay, Lizzie, okay, justice for Lizzie.
Justice for Lizzie.
Hashtag justice for Lizzie. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is introduce you to the cast.
Cast.
In other words, the people that names I'm going to be like repeating a lot. Okay, so here we have, this is the people and some like background information about them. The first one, who's very...
Can I guess their names?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't remember them.
Yeah.
And this man's name is Gregory.
His name is Andrew Jackson Borden.
I forgot that one of them was Andrew Jackson. Oh, wah, wah.
It's not Andrew Jackson, the president. It is just Andrew Jackson Borden, just a plain old white man name. And he is the father in the situation. Who is this?
Which one is Lizzie? Lizzie's number 4, yes?
Lizzie is number 4.
Okay. Is this is it a maid or something? Or something?
No.
Is there a sister?
There is a sister, but that's not her.
Oh. Is that her mom?
Stepmom. This is her stepmom, Abby Borden.
Abby. This
And
is Abraham Lincoln.
this photo looks exactly like Abraham Lincoln. But this is John Morse. He is Lizzie's uncle, and it's Lizzie's mom's actual brother, or Lizzie's actual mom's brother, not the stepmom's brother.
Yeah, like her biological mom. Yeah.
Yes. And this, oh, well, you knew that already.
I guessed it.
The most striking picture ever. If you've never seen a picture of Lizzie Borden, you have to look it up right now. Oh, this is in 1892, by the way, that this happened. I'm going to talk about
really?
that
I thought
again,
it was in 2013.
Okay, first of all, I don't need this ass. So, okay, so that's Lizzie Borden, and this is
Jenny.
No.
All right, okay.
This is Emma
Oh.
Borden, the sister.
I'm doing bad with this one.
And then we also, I'm moving
Meredith.
So you can see.
Meredith is the name.
Same energy. This is Bridget or Maggie. It's their like live-in maid.
Yeah. Kind of similar hairstyle going on to the one that I thought was the maid. You know what I'm saying?
And like the outfit that they're wearing.
Yeah.
But the terrible thing is, so Bridget, her name is Bridget, but they call her Maggie because their old servant's name was Maggie. And so they just kept calling her Maggie. So I might accidentally call her Maggie a lot.
That's like Silicon Valley.
With Jared, yeah. My actual name is Donald. Okay, so that's it. Oh, there's one that there's not a picture of, and it's the neighbor, and her name's Alice Russell. Let us take you to an August back in 1892 when all hell broke loose in the house of Borden.
Ooh.
There's a musical based off this, and that is the opening song. Ooh, spooky. I have a great slideshow.
like American
you guys
Horror
have to watch
Story.
this. Okay, so here is some irrelevant things to know. So, Andrew Borden, the dad, he is rich and he's also stingy as hell.
Like Scrooge.
Yeah, he's the worst human ever, basically. He's also an undertaker. Everybody in the town hated him. He was so stingy that he would charge people that were like bigger people that needed bigger coffins. He would charge people for the big box, but then he would cut them up and put them in a small one to save money.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's kind of yucky.
Piece of garbage, right?
Ew.
Okay, so there's that. So Emma and Lizzie, for some reason, when I heard about this story, through my life, like I feel like everyone has a little bit of knowledge. They like know it's an axe murder and that's pretty much it. Or they know nothing.
I don't think I've ever heard of this before you gave whoa. I don't think I'd ever heard of this before you gave the presentation at that party.
That's crazy to me because I know a lot of people that know about this, but
I'm not too big into murder.
I am big into murder.
I know. When you kill someone and then they use this at the trial. I am big into murder.
I was so kidding. But anyway, when I'd heard about this, I always thought that Lizzie was really young for some reason. I always thought that she was like 13 when this happened, but that's not true at all. She was 32 and her sister Emma was 42. And they both still lived at home with their parents and were not married, which was like a really weird thing for 1892. This is in Fall River, Massachusetts, by the way. It's in America. I didn't say that.
Oh, that helps a lot with clarification. I'm so sorry.
And
I don't know where that came from. Okay.
And it's just like people like or think that's weird that they're that old and still live at home and are not married, because that's weird for that time.
Yeah.
Lizzie, she loves animals. She's like a big animal lover, especially pigeons. She loves pigeons and she plays with them. She hangs out with them.
Don't they carry diseases?
Yeah, but they didn't know that. She often hangs out in the barn with them, and she like built a little like coop for them, and yeah, that doesn't really like I guess it sort of means something, but it's just like interesting to me because usually like people who are killers
don't like animals
are like evil to animals first, you
Yeah.
know. So the dad, they were kind of like. Well, okay, so the dad's really stingy, right? And he like won't give anybody money or like do anything for his family besides himself, like all that stuff. And he buys an estate for Abby's sister, who's the stepmom, like buys her a whole house. And everyone's like, okay, what? Like that is weird that you did that.
Yeah.
And then Abby also had recently convinced him to change his will so that she gets everything when he dies and the daughters get nothing. Let's see. Emma, the sister, was actually out of town when the murders occurred. So that's another little tidbit of information.
Mm-hmm.
The uncle was staying with the family. A little weird he was staying with the family because, like, he hadn't been there since the mom had died when Lizzie was literally a baby. And she's 32 now. And he was, like, staying with the family this one specific weekend. There was also a massive heat wave in Massachusetts at the time. It was, like, 95 degrees or something. Or, like, even more. Like, it was really hot. And it killed 90 people.
Oh my God.
Not just at the time of like the murders happening. It killed more after that. Like it was big.
Wild.
And they had a home robbery a few years before this that made them always like lock the doors to their house, which people never did back then. Nobody ever locked their doors.
Yeah.
So just something to note. I have like a whole events that happened. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to touch on stuff, but there is like a whole thing. And even on the screen, it won't be the whole thing. There's more than that online if you're very curious. But this is leading up to the murders, events of a few days prior, if you will. Okay, so on August 2nd, 1892, the dad, Andrew, goes to work, and he tells one of his co-workers that he feels like there's trouble stirring up in the household. Later that same night, they eat swordfish for dinner.
For supper.
Well, yeah. So they eat it for supper and then eat it again for dinner because they're stingy. So they use stuff over and over again, you know, even though they're rich.
Is supper different? Is supper lunch?
I think that's like the situation. It's like just a different
I thought
meal
supper
time.
meant dinner.
I did too. I don't really know. I will not comment further on this because I'm not sure. But this is
No,
what
I have no statement to give.
this was online. I copied it. So, and then that night, Andrew and Abby vomit, probably just because they had leftover fish. August 3rd, this is the day before the murders. We have more things.
Itinerary.
We have a whole thing. Around 8 in the morning, Abby, the stepmom, goes to Dr. Bowen's, which is across the street from them, and tells him that she thinks she's been poisoned because she threw up last night. And then around 9, the doctor goes back to check on them because the mom went home, whatever, the stepmom went home. And the dad stops him at the door and is like, fuck you, I'm not giving you any money, don't come into my house. Doctors. And it says Lizzie runs upstairs when he comes over because she doesn't like him. Around 10 to 11:30, Lizzie tries to buy prussic acid from Bentz's pharmacy, and that's like poison, basically. At noon, Lizzie joins her dad and stepmom for a noontime meal.
But not supper, just a noontime meal.
In the dining
What
room.
is lunch in the 1800s? Please.
I don't
need
know.
to know.
At 1:30, the uncle comes in from the train station and goes to the Borden's house. So now the uncle has arrived and is in the situation. From 2 to 4, John and Andrew are talking. Lizzie's listening to their conversations. Hang on, I want to make sure I'm not skipping anything.
How do you know these specific things? Like, how do you know that Lizzie dashes upstairs at 9 a.m. approximately?
These are like detailed recounts from like people who were there, like the maid, Lizzie.
Oh, it's like oral
Alice.
history
It's like
documents?
yeah, basically people have over the years like put together all of the information that they've found from everybody. And so like this is what we know.
It's funny that the language is that she dashes upstairs.
I know. This is from like, you know, a website about it. Oh, so when Lizzie bought that poison earlier in the day, she said that it was to clean one of her sealskin capes because she got like a stain on it. Cause it was also like a cleaner, you know. But they were like, first of all, it's a massive heat wave. Why were you using your sealskin cape? And also, like, we never sold her a sealskin cape was the other thing. I don't think she got the poison either.
Suspicious behavior.
Yeah, suspicious behavior is all. So then the uncle leaves, comes back, whatever. Around 7, Lizzie goes to Alice Russell, her neighbor's house in the evening, and she is talking to her. That's like her BFF. And she's like, I'm scared. Like the vibes are off in the house. I'm afraid that somebody will do something. Something's going to happen. And then the uncle comes back home, 8:45. he starts a conversation with Abby and Andrew in the sitting room, and they start arguing about money, and he's mad that he just bought Abby's sister that estate, fighting about the will, fighting about literally everything. Lizzie comes home while they're fighting. She doesn't talk to anybody, but like she probably overhears what they're talking about. She just like goes upstairs and goes to bed. At 9:15, Abby goes to bed. At 10, Andrew and John go to bed. And then the uncle sleeps in the room by Lizzie.
Okay.
Here I have an entire layout of the upper and lower floors of the Borden household. First floor, second floor.
Is this about like who did it? You know what I'm saying? Not like this presentation in particular, but like is this whole like case about like who killed?
Yes.
Do you think it was Lizzie?
We're going to get there.
Okay.
So so I'm going to kind of talk through wait, close your eyes.
My eyes are closed. Okay. I don't know what's happening.
I just wanted to see what was on the next slide. So around 7 a.m, Abby and Andrew eat breakfast with John, and Abby tells Bridget, Maggie, the maid, to go clean the windows outside and inside, which is such a bitch fucking move in this heat wave. 8:45, the uncle leaves to return at 11:30, so he'll be gone for a while. So then Abby eats her breakfast, and she also prepares Lizzie's. Lizzie comes down and eats, blah, blah, blah. 9:15, the dad goes downtown, so he has left the house at 9:30. Abby goes to the guest room and is murdered. Da, 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 da. Murdered. And then sorry. So at 10:45 then, so like an hour and 15 minutes later, the dad is seen by a neighbor trying to open the side door of the house, and it's locked. So then he goes to the front door, and then is seen fumbling with his keys. Bridget hears this and then goes to let him in. And while she's like trying to open the door, she hears Lizzie laugh because Bridget says like fuck or something when she's like trying to get the key, like the door to open. And so he like just notes that she hears Lizzie like laugh behind her on the staircase. And then, she lets him in, whatever, and Andrew goes to his room to change, and he's not feeling well, so he goes to take a nap in the sitting room. And then Bridget also goes and takes a nap in the third floor attic. There is a third floor that's not here. So basically, if you're looking at this, I'm going to tell you where everybody is at the present moment.
It's a very complex diagram.
Yeah, it's literally just like the layout of the house. Like you were going to build it on The Sims or something.
You should do it. You should.
What if I built it on The Sims? Okay, so at this point, we don't know where Lizzie is, but we know right here on the second floor where this like one is, bottom right of the second floor, the guest room is where the mom is, or the stepmom is laying murdered on the ground. The dad has come in. He's on the first floor sitting room. You can see that on the thing. And what's her name? Bridget is on the third floor, away from all of this. And a point here to make: the dad never went upstairs, so he never saw the dead mom. And the only way to get to the third floor is to go up the stairs in the back of the house, not the ones in the main entry. So she basically didn't see the body here either, because she just didn't go up these stairs. She went up the back stairs to the 3rd floor. Because there's a point here, if you're looking at the diagram, you can see a little like X on the 2nd floor. It's like a door that they closed off. And so the front stairs only go to Emma's room, Lizzie's room, and the guest room. And the back stairs only go to Andrew and Abby's room and like their bathroom closet and stuff. And it's totally cut off here. So there's no way to like be on the 2nd floor entirely without going up and downstairs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Hopefully it makes sense if you can't see it. I'm a visual person, so I would be like, what?
There's 2 halves of the house you can access, and you have to use different staircases to access them.
Yes, much more eloquent than I said it. Okay, so that's where everybody is. And then at 11, Lizzie tells Bridget and, sorry. So, oh my God, I'm so
You got it.
So
you got it.
At 11:05, Lizzie screams to Bridget, "Come quick, father is dead. Someone has come in and killed him."
Oh no.
Ba, ba, ba.
Wow.
And then Lizzie sends the maid to go get the doctor. So people, you can get people, whatever. They still haven't found the mom yet. They don't know about the mom. But the doctor's not home. So she goes to her best friend Alice's house. What?
I love you go, what? Was Dad...
looking at me with a face.
Yeah, because I was about to talk. Was Dad murdered in the sitting room or in the parlor?
Sitting room.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he had moved or not.
Oh, yeah, no. He is literally found on, like, as if he was napping on the, like, couch in the sitting room. I have pictures, don't worry.
I don't want to see them.
You can close your eyes, but they will be on the screen. I'll tell you when they're coming.
Can I tell you something? Last week when I did Tumblr, I was surprised that you were so put off by piss jello.
Surprised?
Yeah, because like, what's seeing a severed toe compared to seeing piss jello? Like, it's piss jello.
That's disgusting.
Like, what? I wouldn't eat my own piss. I would not make piss jello. I'm not like an advocate for piss jello, but I just don't think it's like that different than seeing like somebody's face bashed in or like a toe.
It's so much grosser.
It's not. It's literally the same.
It is
exactly the same.
So much grosser.
I was surprised. I was like, wow, Maddison really can't handle piss jello.
Crossing my legs right now. I can't even think
really
about
interesting to me. It was really, I was like, how can Maddison handle true crime?
It's just like how I hate horror movies, but I love true crime and like it doesn't freak me out.
I don't think piss jello is equivalent to a scary movie though.
I just mean like it's something that like seems like not that different. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I don't know. I guess I was just surprised.
Well, yeah, sorry. Sorry,
I don't
like
to apologize. I don't expect you to like piss jello. I just didn't think you would like be so affected by piss jello.
Oh my God, I'm really affected by it.
I
like,
know you are. I noticed.
Anyway, so the doctor's not home, so she goes to get her BFF Alice. A neighbor hears the commotion, and then they go to another neighbor's house. The police are called, yada, yada, yada. An officer and the doctor finally arrive, and they try to check the cellar to like see if someone's in there, but it's locked, so they just leave it alone. More officers arrive around the same time as Alice, the neighbor, and they come in as well, and everyone is like, wait, where in the fuck is Abby, the stepmom? So then Bridget, the maid, and the neighbor Alice go upstairs to check. And walking up these stairs in the landing, they can already see Abby's body on the floor in the guest room. I have a picture of that angle, so you can see. Basically, if anyone had walked up those stairs, they would have seen the body. Is the period.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
So then they send a telegram to Emma, the sister who's out of town, to come home because her parents are dead. They were both murdered with axes to the head. It wasn't as many times as the nursery rhyme said. It was only Oh, dang it. I can't remember. I used to know this like the back of my hand. But it was only like one of them was hit 9 times and one of them was hit like 7 times or something like that. But the nursery rhyme says like 40 and 41, which is, I mean, both are crazy.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a little different. But yeah, so I am going to show the pictures. So close your eyes if you don't want to see.
I'm closing my eyes because I don't want to see.
This is how they were found. The bottom left corner is the view from the stairs. If you're looking on the screen, I'm going to go past it. This is, I should have warned before that. Well, I'll just...
Content warning, everybody.
I will. Content warning. This is extreme that I'm going to show, so skip it if you don't want to see it.
You know what I'm picturing right now?
What?
I'm picturing like a tiny little snail friend in my brain.
Good, I'm glad.
So that I don't have to think about murder.
This is the back of Abby Borden's head, and also it's their autopsy photos, basically. But they're like, it's 1892, so they're like blurry, and you can't even really see anything, and like you can just kind of see hair is basically all it is. Okay, skipping past it. This is not people, it's just skulls.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. These are what their skulls looked like.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, and that is like maybe possibly the murder weapon, but we don't know. Yeah, they're dead, all that stuff. So
yeah, they're dead.
Anyway, so I just wanted to show that before I kept going on like what's happening. So that's what happened to them. They were brutally murdered. Yeah. So they send that telegram to Emma to come back. Dozens of policemen come into the house. They, if any evidence was there, is gone, kind of a thing. Like, stomp on everything. The doctors perform. The autopsies on the bodies on the dining room table. That's what those pictures were from. Lizzie is interrogated by Deputy Marshal Fleet. Lizzie speaks in a detached manner, and when Fleet calls Abby her mother, Lizzie insists she is not my mother. She is my stepmother.
Ooh.
She hated her. So did Emma, but we'll get back to that.
Because of the will?
Oh, yeah, money. Like,
Yeah.
So the uncle returns at like 11:45, which is like 45 minutes after the murder, the last murder at least, I guess. And he says that he heard of the murders from Bridget, but I don't know when Bridget ever... Did she leave the house? Like, this has never made sense to me. He says that he came back because he heard about the murders from Bridget, but Bridget was at the house the whole time and he was in town.
Well, when was not the cell phone? When was the phone invented? Is it after?
I mean, barely anyone had them, and they were in like a couple houses, and they were like landlines.
She couldn't have like called the store from her house and been like, "Hey, is what's his name?" No, from the house, not her own personal phone. The phone that the house that
they don't have a phone. I don't think that's why the neighbors had to.
Then maybe she left. Maybe she was like, "I'm gonna go get him."
Maybe, I don't know, but suspicious.
Do you think it was her?
And so then I don't know. The uncle stays inside and he speaks to Lizzie for a while. And then he ends up staying like in the house most of the day, which gross because remember it's like 95 degrees and there's dead people on the table.
Ew.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
and they don't have air. They don't have air. It's 1892. So.
Ew.
Lizzie stays inside pretty much the whole day as well. Eventually, Emma comes back, and Lizzie asks Alice, her BFF, to stay the night with them, and she does for 3 days. I'm not staying in the house with your dead parents, Jayce. I'm sorry. You can come to my house.
Oh, my God.
Come to my house, but I'm not staying.
I wouldn't ask you to do that.
I'm just saying, like,
Oh, my God.
Right, though? Isn't that crazy?
That's the plot of an American Horror Story season.
Probably. We just wrote it.
No, it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's based on this. So John, the uncle, also sleeps over that night. It's gone back and forth whether he was in the attic or actually stayed in the room that Abby was murdered in, which he was staying in before. We don't really know for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so bodies, blah, blah, blah. This is some newspaper articles. I paid for a subscription to find every article I could about this from the actual time period. I fucking love this. Anyway,
A gray-haired couple murdered.
yeah, basically it's just interesting, I think, to see like how it was written about.
Can you read
What? Yeah.
No, can you read the one on the left like it as if you were like a newscaster?
Okay. Okay, ready? Appalling double murder at Fall River. Andrew Borden and his wife hacked to pieces. Their heads chopped open. Mysterious murder in broad midday. The Post unearths a clue.
That was really good. That was exactly what I wanted.
I was in radio speaking and speech team.
Ooh, alrighty.
Yeah. That was that was basically just a bunch of headlines in one article.
Yeah.
There's also, I mean, this isn't the full article, I cut them, but basically everyone's like, these old ass bitches were murdered in their homes. How crazy. There's like a little drawing of what the house looked like on the street. This is the house. That's a drawing of Andrew Borden. That's the side of the house. They offered a $5,000 reward if someone gave information that led to an arrest and conviction. And the people who put that in the paper were Lizzie and Emma. Emmy. It's their sister group name. Yeah, so here we go next. So the investigation. These police are so stupid. And ACAB, fuck 12, all that. Yes. But even more, always. But they're just terrible. There's no investigation happening. Everyone's ruining everything. It's terrible. So Lizzie, Emma, John, and Alice all slept in the house that night. They slept there for 3 days. Remember that. In the very first interview with Lizzie, with the guy that we mentioned before, this is from a website. Despite her attitude and changing alibis, nobody bothered to check her for bloodstains. The police did not search her room, but they did search her room, but they said they didn't actually. They were like, it was cursory. We just kind of looked in, peeked, kind of a thing. And at the trial, they admitted to doing a terrible job in doing that because she said that she wasn't feeling well, so they didn't want to disturb her.
Oh my God.
And they were criticized for that. So she wasn't really a suspect at all. Oh my God. My mic cord just pulled this black mask on the floor, and I thought it was a rat.
Oh my God. The mouse that was in my apartment the other day.
Oh, I know about the mouse in your apartment the other day.
No.
Okay. They also talked to a worker who was turned away earlier in the day. And they also questioned several working class immigrants that were around the area or that worked in their neighbors or whatever. But they all had alibis, so it wasn't them. The police are guarding the house, and they see Lizzie and Alice go into the cellar one night. One of them sees them go into the cellar with a kerosene lamp and a slop pail, and was just cool.
Oh my God.
Okay, you guys just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, they can just destroy all the evidence.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And he saw them leave, and then Lizzie go back later alone. He said he really couldn't see what was happening, but she was apparently bending over a sink. Most people then suspected the uncle. And the next day, he's mobbed by the town when he leaves the house.
Oh, my God.
Because everyone thinks it's him. But then he gave a solid alibi because he remembered the exact taxi cab number he was in, as well as the number on the driver's hat, which seems a little suspicious to me.
Yeah.
That
seems a little too prepared. Maybe they were all in on it.
I don't know.
Who do you think it was?
I can't tell you. We're leading up to that.
I don't know. You've posed 3 suspects so far. I just would like a little input.
I'm going to pose a bunch of suspects. Um, so that's sus to me. But finally, on August 6th, 2 full days later, the police decide to actually search the fucking house and search Lizzie's clothes. And they find an axe head with a handle broken off in the cellar, which was in that one picture. But there's no blood anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That same day, Lizzie was seen burning a dress that she described as it had paint on it.
Yeah, okay.
The strange bit of housekeeping was witnessed by her friend Alice Russell. I obviously copied and pasted this, who continued or who cautioned her against doing it. Basically, Alice walked in and saw her doing that, and she was like, "Girl, do not burn that dress. That is suspicious." And Lizzie was like, "No, it's nothing. It's just paint. It's fine. I'm gonna destroy it." And then she did. She destroyed it. Let's see. What does this say? Since the vicious nature of the killings meant whoever wielded the axe would have been... Oh, okay. Yeah, basically, this article mansplains why that would be suspicious. Yeah, I got it. It would probably have blood on it. But anyway, it was fishy, right? So on August 8th, Lizzie is finally for real interviewed. Am I still on the same slide? I think I am. I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah. So she's finally for real interviewed on August 8th, and she gives really inconsistent answers to like all the questions. She initially says that she heard a groan, that she was like outside, she heard a scraping noise or like a distress call before she went into the house. But then 2 hours later, she tells a different policeman that she heard nothing, and she entered the house and she didn't know anything was wrong. Later, they found out that the doctors had been prescribing her morphine, though. So I don't really know if you can blame that on being fishy or hot.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't really know how to
that's
speak on
basically
that.
a whole thing with like a lot of... I mean, I'll get back to this, but like a lot of why people think that maybe she was acting suspiciously is because they were like, "Oh, you're a woman with thoughts, morphine." You know?
I think Lizzie did it.
I mean, yeah. That's you can think that.
I do. I think that. Yeah.
Okay, next slide. So the trial. This trial is 2 weeks long. I forgot to mention this before, but they also didn't think it was Lizzie for a while because they were like, a woman could never kill anyone. So in all of the articles in the newspaper, it was always like, who could the suspicious man have been? Like, like all that stuff. And then finally, and they're just using like he, him pronouns for like, even though they had no idea who it was. But yeah, anyway, so she finally does get arrested. And there's also like so much more information to like, I'm trying to make it not so crazy. Okay, so 2-week trial, nearly a year after the murders in June 1893. And they, those skulls that I showed you, they presented those as evidence. And Lizzie fainted in court, which gained her a lot of sympathy from like...
Well, yeah, because everyone's like, oh, the woman fainted.
Yeah. So that was good for her. She was... This is what someone described her as. She was a petite Sunday school teacher, after all. She taught Sunday school. How could she have done such a brutal thing? It says she never testified. She never like tried to protect herself on the stand and be like, I didn't do it. She was like, I'm not going to testify. They dismissed her weird interviews because they found out that she was on morphine at the time. And so they were like, well, we can't like, we can't really take what she said as truth because like, I don't really know about all that. She was on drugs. Let's see. But yeah, Lizzie's totally here for the drama though. She will like, oh my God. Anyway, I just looked up and saw that on my slideshow, and I just, it's true. She is. She
Yeah.
loves that everyone's like talking about her, and she's in the paper and like all that stuff.
I would.
Me too. Because of the mysterious illness that had struck the house, like right before, the throwing
Like when
up
they
and stuff.
vomited.
Yes. The family's milk and Andrew and Abby's stomachs were tested for poison, but none was found. So, and it was probably just because they ate fish.
Yeah, that was really old.
Yeah, the day before. But they searched for it anyway. The hatchet I had found in the basement was not convincing enough to know if it was the murder weapon or not. The prosecutors argued that the killer had removed the handle because it was bloody. And another officer testified that the hatchet handle was found near the head, but someone else said it wasn't. So everyone was just telling different stories. So it just there was no real, yeah.
Yeah.
Alice Russell testified. The BFF testified about seeing her burn the dress. So that was kind of the biggest thing against her.
Would you do that? If we were in court and I was being tried for murder, would you be like, yeah, I saw them burning this dress and it was super weird?
Yeah, totally.
That
I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. I can't admit that because then when I do testify, they'll use this podcast.
Do you think I could murder somebody? Be honest.
I think that if you really wanted to, you could get away with it, but I don't think you could bring yourself to do it.
I don't think I could get away with it, but I think I could.
Yeah.
Kill someone. Maybe.
I feel the same way. Yeah. Oh God, we have to cut that. I do think I could get away with it.
I don't know.
I could absolutely get away with it.
I don't know if I believe that.
You think you could get away with it and I couldn't?
I didn't say that. I said I don't think I could get away with it. I've already said, me saying, this is not a comparison. I already said that I can't get away with it.
I could get away with it. You know how much Snapped I've watched?
I just don't. I literally, I don't know. I don't know. I don't mean to be offensive. I just don't think you could do it. I'm sorry.
I have a whole thing. Anyway, I won't get into it. But all I'm saying is don't test me.
You're going to murder me? You're trying to get away with murdering me?
Not you, but I do hold a grudge on others. So
oh my God.
You don't count.
That's so funny.
Anyway, so there was a similar axe murder nearby in a close town. Pretty close to when the trial happened, but the person who they caught for that one was out of the country when this one happened, supposedly. So they don't think it's the same person. Oh, okay. I thought that I missed something, but it was just I had to hit the button one more time on the same slide. Anyway, so Lizzie says this interesting thing in a interview in the paper. She says, had I purposed to murder my father and mother, should I have done it at midday with the house all open? How easily might I have arranged it in the night? Father and mother were both heavy sleepers, and one blow to each would have finished the dreadful business. Then how easy for me to have counterfeited the evidence of a struggle in an apartment, thrown an outside door suspiciously open, and left the morning light to point to the crime and to some unknown outsider. Which is so true. She's like, why the fuck would I be so obvious about it if I was going to do that? But then it explains a whole murder. So, yeah. I mean, take it what you will. But anyway, with no hard evidence, the jury convened for 90 minutes to find her not guilty.
Not guilty.
Woo! So she's not guilty. Lizzie screams and cries in joy, joined by her sister. They're all very happy, whatever, all that stuff. Lizzie changes her name to Lizbeth and buys a mansion with Emma in Fall River's Posthead neighborhood. Poshest neighborhood.
Oh my God. What did you say? Post head?
We are under the influence. Wow.
Oh my
I was
God,
like,
Madison.
what? For some reason, that word was bolded. And so I was like,
Cautious.
what is that?
That is so
Anyway,
funny.
where she lived the rest of her days. Lizzie, this is her as an old woman. She took an interest in theater and the arts. She attended plays very often. She was friends with actors, artists, and bohemian types.
Ooh.
That's her and her puppy dog. Emma and Lizzie move into an estate together in the richer neighborhood of Fall River, the poshest. Neither of them ever get married. They live together until 1923, and then Emma moves to New Hampshire because she was having lots of health issues, and she also heard that there was going to be another book published about the whole murders and everything that happened, and she was like, I don't want like that attention, so I'm going to leave and not be in Massachusetts anymore. Lizzie stayed in that house and pretty much then lived as a hermit from then on. And it was rumored that she was a lesbian, and that's probably why. A lesbian? Why'd I put a D on the end of that? But that's probably why she never got married. Then Lizzie dies of pneumonia at 66 in 1927. And 9 days later, Emma dies of kidney issues at 76. Leading to her death, she was interviewed by a local paper, and she said this. Parted with queer sister. Not queer as in LGBT, but as in weird. That's how they talked back then.
Oh, okay,
or like odd.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, different meaning of queer. Often it has occurred to me, she said, how strange is the fact that no one, save Lizzie, was ever brought to trial for the killing of our father and his wife. Some others have stated that for years they considered that Lizzie acted decidedly queer. But don't we all do something peculiar at some time or another? Lizzie is queer, but as for her being guilty, I say no, and decidedly no. Here is the strongest thing that has impressed me of Lizzie's innocence. The authorities never found the axe or the implement or whatever it was that figured the killing. If Lizzie had done the deed, she could have never hidden the instrument of death so the police could never find it. That's what she said shortly before she died. So they actually kind of didn't talk in their later years. They had some sort of falling out, but she still did say that about her. So pretty much no one came to the memorial, but they kept it a secret because they didn't want like murderinos to show up. Really, like, you know, and like a bunch of random people. So they didn't really like advertise it, and like nobody came. And in Lizzie's will, she leaves a whole bunch of money, $30,000-ish, which is like $500,000 in today's money, towards animal care and shelters. And the rest is split between a friend of hers, probably a girlfriend, and a cousin. And the facility that she left the money to took care of her dogs until they all passed away after she died.
Oh, that's kind.
Too, yeah. I was gonna.
So who done it, Madison? I want to talk about it.
I have something else to say. Emma, when she died, also left $20,000 to that same place, as well as thousands and thousands of dollars to other charities of like all kinds. The list is literally huge if you Google it. But it was so much money that it's called the Animal Rescue League of Fall River. They credit them to this day with the fact that they're still like running. Which is really interesting because you look it up and like all articles are like murderer Lizzie, and this one's just like, we love her. She kept our animals safe.
Yeah.
You know, like I just love it. Lizzie also leaves a good portion of money to make sure that they keep her father's burial lots kept clean, and like just kept up, but not for the stepmom. So, who done it? Oh, actually, sorry, one more thing.
Oh my God, Madison, who done it?
I'm
Well, it was
so
obviously
sorry.
Lizzie. It was Lizzie.
Alice Russell, the BFF, they never really talked after the whole murder thing happened anymore. She lived. How old did she live? Where's the date? Somewhere on there. She was old, basically. And she would never speak of what happened. She refused to talk about it to anybody.
I think that means she thinks that Lizzie did it.
Yeah, I mean, and she did testify against her.
Yeah.
But she said about that. It says, I don't know where I got this from, but it says, always the lady and true to her Yankee heritage, she believed, as many closely associated with the Borden case, that certain things were just not discussed. For that conviction, she deserves our admiration and respect, though. Because she wasn't, anyway. She did tell a cousin, though, closer to when it happened, that she didn't think it was her until she saw her burn the dress, and then she was like, oh, it's definitely her.
That would make me think it was her too.
Yeah, I mean.
And it does.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so now, who done it? Was it John Morse?
No.
The uncle. Why was he with the family? I mean, and they thought about money and properties, huge motive to kill his money. His alibi was weirdly specific. Why would you remember the taxi cab numbers? And also, there had been a sighting of a man on the grounds of the property by a neighbor around the time of the murders.
It was not him.
I don't know. That guy's pretty recognizable if it was him. He looks like Abraham Lincoln.
He does look like Abraham Lincoln, but it wasn't him. Honest Abe, he would never kill somebody.
Also, was it Bridget, Maggie?
No, it was
maybe
not.
in anger because she was being ordered to clean the windows on a hot day, and it being a heat wave like that, she was still recovering from being sick because she was also sick from the fish and all that. And then she had to go outside and do that. Could you imagine having food poisoning and then having...
Yeah, but I wouldn't murder over it.
I mean, I don't know. They treated her like shit. They literally didn't even call her by her real name.
Yeah, I don't think that's something to murder over.
I don't know. But also, the only reason she's found to be innocent was Lizzie, who claimed that Bridget was outside and upstairs at the exact right times. So really, the only reason we know about that is because of what Lizzie said. We don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Was it the sister?
No.
Having established an alibi in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, which is where she was out of town too. It's 15 miles away from the house. People have figured it out that it's possible that she could have gone to Fall River, killed them, went back to where she was to make sure she had an alibi, received the telegram, and then come back home. Totally has enough time to do that. There's also the possibility of a William Borden.
It was not him.
This is a theory of Andrew Borden having an illegitimate son. And it says after failing to extort money from his father, that he would that would be the motive. It's a super loose theory, and then I'm pretty sure it was pretty much debunked by the same guy that thought of it. I think he was writing a book about it, how he thought it was that, and then while he was doing that, he figured out it wasn't him. Kind of a thing. But still interesting. Okay, there's also the doctor.
No, it was not the doctor.
He lived across the street. He could have killed them and removed the murder weapons in his doctor's bag because he was one of the first people on the scene. Let's see. Somebody suggested that there were ill feelings between the doctor and the Bordens, which is something that we know from the day that happened when he came over because, they thought they were poisoned, and he was like, get the fuck out of here. We don't want to give you any money. We hate you. So There's also, let's see. In
Lizzie Borden.
somebody, I don't, it says it's from the witness statements, Fall River, Massachusetts, 1997. It says Dr. Bowen burns paper, possibly with the name Emma on the kitchen stove in front of one of the police officers. I don't know. Just a weird thing he did.
Huh. Okay.
He said, I believe this is what he said. On the day of the murder, I was coming towards Fall River. Oh, no, this is somebody talking about Dr. Bowen. On the day of the murder, I was coming towards Fall River. I met Dr. Bowen and a young man in a carriage driving so fast that I thought at the time someone was dying. I'm well acquainted with him, but I never saw him look so wild. It was about 15 minutes to 11. The doctor had, which is like when the murders kind of happened, the doctor had hold of the reins with both hands, driving for dear life. Has Dr. Bowen ever been questioned? No, not really. He was there on the morning of the murder. It's just like all that stuff is just like things that happened and no one like even did anything about it.
Yeah, because it wasn't him. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, that's weird. Okay. No, that's weird.
Or was it Lizzie?
Yes, it was Lizzie.
If it was Lizzie,
it was.
Why would she have done it?
Because her stepmom, I think this is a quiz.
Was she gay as hell? So one of the theories is that Lizzie and there was a musical made of this, and they have her be gay with the neighbor, the BFF Alice. But the real theory is that her and Bridget were doing the dudes.
Lovers.
Yeah. And the mom like could have walked in on it and that and freaked out, and you know, she was in a state of shock, killed her, and then when the dad came home, she was like, guess I gotta kill him too, kind of thing.
But if she liked her dad, why couldn't she just be like, oh my God, I got home and somebody killed stepmom? You know? Why'd she have to kill her dad? I don't think that is...
She hated her dad.
Oh. I thought she just hated the stepmom.
Well, they were both like evil.
Oh. Okay.
Everybody's evil. But a lot of people, very, very most common theory is that she was like sexually abused by her dad. So probably why. This is the kind of what I subscribe to. I think it is like a mix of these things, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, TW that.
Yeah. Remember when Alice, when she was old, she was like, things just weren't discussed, like, you know, about this, so we're just gonna whatever. Well, a lot of people take that as like a little bit of a like, that sounds like this could be true, like, because people didn't talk about like sexual abuse back then or anything like that, you know. And even if Lizzie had mentioned it or like tried to get them to talk about it at the trial or anything like that, like they just wouldn't have talked about it. And also, if they did talk about it at the trial, they wouldn't have put it in the paper because the entire trial, they didn't have TV, so everything is just printed in the paper. Like the entire transcript for the trial is just the whole paper, like every day for 2 weeks. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so people think it's that. People also think money. I subscribe to this one as well. Oh,
pigeons.
That is one as well. Also, the dad was said to have, he hated pigeons and Lizzie loved them, remember? And he was said to have went up and murdered them all because Lizzie wouldn't leave them alone, and he ripped off all their heads.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. People think that set her off as well. Also, the whole money thing, them being cut out of the will. But if the stepmother dies first, then the money still goes to them, which is what happened. Kind of a thing.
Cash money.
And if it was about the money, was Emma in on it? Like, it could be a mix of like a whole bunch of these like theories. Like, it could have not just been Lizzie. Could have not been her at all. Could have just been her. But that Emma was probably knew about everything that was going on with Lizzie. If anything else was happening on this list. In the musical, they have her be a little bit of a mastermind behind it. The one that's trying to get that basically is like, we have to kill a stepmom. Doesn't say anything about killing the dad, but was like, we have to kill stepmom so that way we're still in the will. Mm-hmm. But then Lizzie kind of goes out of control, goes both of them. That's a theory as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of subscribe to that as well.
You think that Lizzie killed them?
Yeah, but I think it's like a really, I don't know, honestly. I think yes, but then sometimes I read things and I'm like, wait, maybe not. But then sometimes I'm like, no, it's definitely her. I feel, for me, it's like a John Bonet situation, even though I do think
it's
the brother.
The brother.
Yeah, I do think it is the brother, but the first thing I do when I get to the afterlife is ask everyone around me what happened.
That's so funny.
So, anyway, do with that what you will. This is the house now. It is a bed and breakfast.
Yep.
That you can stay in. This is the couch she was murdered on. This top one is the house that the murders happened in, the bed and breakfast. This bottom one is the house that Lizzie lived the rest of her life in. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think anyone owns right now. I think it's switched hands a few times. Things like that. Yeah, they have the bed and breakfast. It's like kind of haunted themed. I think that they have like speakers on the walls that like make ghost noises.
That's fun.
But they also do reenactments.
Oh my God.
That one's a little crazy for me.
That's so weird.
I don't know about reenacting a murder in the house it happened in. But a little strange, but yeah, it's not in the family though. Like the people that own it are not in the like it was bought at auction.
Yeah,
kind of a thing. I would love to go though. It's kind of a cute little house. But that's it. I just wanted to tell you about Lizzie again and tell you that there's so many interesting things about it. There's even way more interesting things that I didn't even talk about. But like, it's just, I encourage you to look it up. There's a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was a really cool presentation.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed seeing it for the millionth time.
It's just like I said before, when people know about it, like they don't actually know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it for sure. Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok.
Yeah, everything's in our link tree, linktr.ee/you're kidding. Mm-hmm. Everything, Instagram,
at
Twitter,
You're Kidding Pod, at You're Kidding Podcast. Yeah. Patreon, subscribe on YouTube. 94% of our listeners are not subscribed.
94.
Fun fact.
Y'all better get your butts to that subscribe button. It's right there. Yeah. You also better like this episode on Spotify.
Yeah.
Put it in your episodes.
Thank you for listening if you're still listening. Bonus content on Patreon. Woo.
Yeah, woo.
And that is You're Kidding.
You're kidding.
You're kidding.
You're kidding.
You're kidding.
ASMR.
Oh my God, no.